The goal of this administration is to move Nigeria forward to become a strong, strategic, and proactive state.
President Muhammadu Buhari asked Nigerians to develop productive mindsets towards the country's economic and sustainable growth.
This particular equipment gives the pilots the lateral guidance in the event of poor weather.
Nigeria's airports get new instrument landing system.
I have made a priority of engaging with leaders all over the world to advocate for political action on health.
71st World Health Assembly gets underway in Geneva, Switzerland. And slain Catholic priest laid to rest in Makurdi. Good evening and thank you for joining us on NTA Network News with me, Muhammad Kudu Abubakar. Dr. Aguemi is in Lagos, while Asma O Habibu Shagari is in Sapkwato. As the recovery in the nation's economy gathers momentum, President Muhammadu Buhari has spoken of the need for every Nigerian to develop a productive mindset towards guaranteeing total recovery and sustainable growth in all sectors of the country. Speaking at the 2018 National Productivity Day and Order of Merit Award, President Buhari directed ministries, departments, and agencies to fully drive the change agenda in the public sector, noting that henceforth mediocrity will not be tolerated. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo reports.
Productivity for economic recovery and sustainable growth is the theme for the 2018 National Productivity Day celebration and Order of Merit Award, 17 in this series. President Muhammadu Buhari said with Nigeria exiting recession through his administration's determined efforts, the challenge now is how to sustain the recovery and ensure growth.
The goal of this administration is to move Nigeria forward to become a strong, strategic, and proactive state through a deliberate, pragmatic, and productivity-conscious program of action. We want to rebuild Nigeria into a competitive, virile, strong, and productive economy, a state whose citizens are creative, innovative, responsive, accountable, incorruptible, patriotic, and diligent.
The president expressed delight that already through the economic recovery and growth plan, most indices by which an economy could be measured are looking bright.
Our foreign reserve has risen to 47.5 billion United States dollars. The inflation rate declined from a peak of 18.7% in January 2017 to 12.4% in April 2018. The implementation of the Treasury single account has stopped the pilfering of the Treasury. Billions of naira has been saved. 200 billion naira has also been saved from the elimination of ghost workers in the public service.
He said henceforth, public servants will be held responsible collectively and individually for the planning and implementation of his administration's programs.
From now on, it will no longer be business as usual. Corruption is an anathema to productivity, growth of any country. We are therefore resolute in our commitment to fight it in all facets of our national life.
Labor and Employment Minister Dr. Chris Ngige was emphatic that no nation can be self-sufficient without achieving higher productivity, which he described as the cornerstone of the economy.
We therefore have no option in Nigeria but to key into this productivity movement and ensure that we remain productive in all our endeavors.
The environment to unleash productivity cannot only be at the center. We need to get to the point where we are one nation, driving one agenda, one goal, to build a great nation.
15 individuals and 5 organizations are judged to have contributed outstandingly to the nation's growth and development in their various endeavors, were conferred with the National Productivity Order of Merit Award. Amongst them, the head of the Civil Service of the Federation, Winifred Oyoita.
This award is a launch pad for us, the awardees, to fly even higher in productivity and hard work to the pride of Nigeria.
318 individuals and 79 organizations have so far been honored since the inception of the award in 1991. In Abuja, Adamu Sambu, NTA News.
Federal government says it will intensify efforts to sustain investors' confidence to enhance Nigeria's economic development. Vice President Yemi Osinbajo stated this while addressing a cross-section of investors at the first Direct Investment Summit in Abuja. Correspondent Vivian Idegbefo reports.
This is the first Direct Investment Summit being held in Nigeria. It is therefore not surprising to see the caliber of personalities at this forum. Vice President Yemi Osinbajo says the summit is a follow-up to the recently concluded first phase of the ERGP Focus Labs. He says government is committed to ensuring the success of everyone with a stake in the Nigerian project.
One of our biggest priorities and commitments as a government has been the creation of an enabling business environment, one in which property rights and the rule of law are respected, and in which markets take the lead while government efficiently fulfills its role as a protector and enabler. Since 2016, we've launched a number of efforts in this regard. The most ambitious is the ease of doing business reforms. The IMF also cited our business climate reforms as a major contributor to lifting the economy out of recession last year.
There were 5 areas where we felt as a government, as a ministry, and frankly, as part of the economic management team, we had to see visible and tangible progress.
That is the key to the economic recovery and growth plan, leveraging the power of the private sector.
The summit tagged Investment Meets Opportunity afforded participants the platform to get first-hand information on investment climate from the sub-national level. In Abuja, Vivian Idegbefo, NTA News.
New Instrument Landing Systems, ILS, that makes aircraft landing more accurate even in bad weather conditions are being installed across the nation's airports. In Lagos, Abuja, Kano, and Port Harcourt airports, the ILLs are to be upgraded to Category 3 from Category 2. Emmanuel Ayimero on safety tour of Murtala Mohammed International Airport, Lagos, has more.
Yeah, we're all partners in business doing this.
So far, response to the clamor by the people for the installation of new instrument landing system, modern communication equipment, and surveillance for safety and security of the nation's airspace is being attended to. At the Murtala Mohammed International Airport, Lagos, a new installation, instrument landing system 420 series, is ongoing at the glide slope site to complement the support service from the radar, while the installation at the localizer has been completed.
And this particular equipment gives the pilots the lateral guidance in the event of poor weather, precisely a Cat 2 equipment.
We've started work on a new ILS in Maiduguri. We are going to be installing in Port Harcourt, Benin, and Akure. We are going to be also installing in Minna and Jos. We have approval to install Category 3 ILSs in Lagos and Abuja. We have made submission and suggestion that we should extend the same facility.
Category 3 instrument landing system is known for its capability to autopilot an aircraft for landing, even at very low visibility. Emmanuel Ayemiro, NTA News.
The federal government says it has discovered that some of its revenue-generating agencies failed to remit to the Federation's account monies generated in the sum of 8.1 trillion naira. Information and Culture Minister Lai Mohammed announced this in Osogbo at a ceremony on the Okoko and Ogbagba rivers in Osun State. Anthony Folson reports.
Before now, inhabitants of this community in Osogbo have had the misfortune of living in fear caused by flooding. Records have it that lives and property have been lost on account of flooding as the stream became silted. but with the combined effort of the state government and the intervention of the federal government through the Office of the Secretary to the Government of the Federation using ecological funds, today the waterway has been desilted and channeled with bridges built. President Muhammadu Buhari, who was represented by the Information and Culture Minister, restated his administration's commitment in giving the citizens a sense of belonging.
The federal government will continue to execute projects that will benefit the people across the country's 6 geopolitical zones. And this has been attested to by the ongoing massive infrastructural projects being carried out across the country. Between 2016 and today, the Buhari administration has been spending an average of over 1.3 trillion naira on infrastructural projects.
The president said his administration's anti-corruption stance is occasioned by the depth of corruption, which made past administrations unable to develop infrastructure for the benefit of the people.
This is why this administration's fight against corruption is very critical, in that we free the much needed resources for national development. Every kobo that is not looted is a plus for development.
Osun State Governor Rauf Aregbesola, in the same vein, applauded President Buhari's stance against corruption and was quick to warn the beneficiaries to manage the project effectively.
Please, for goodness sake, refrain from throwing refuse and that into this channel. This channel is not meant as a refuse collector.
Representative of the Permanent Secretary, Ecological Fund Office in the Office of the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Yusuf Adi, restated the risk of flooding and silting as well as its negative consequences. Anthony Forson, NTA News.
President Muhammadu Buhari has granted audience to a delegation of the Nigerian Senate where issues relating to the executive-legislature relations, good governance, effective service delivery were discussed. State House correspondent Adam Musambo reports that the visit is at the instance of the Senate, followed a resolution by the lawmakers to interface with President Muhammadu Buhari on some issues critical to the sustenance of democracy in the country. Senate leader Ahmed Ibrahim Lawan led the team, which also comprised the minority leader, Senator Godswill Akpabio. They had this to say after the meeting, which lasted more than 1 hour behind closed doors.
Mr. President is the leader of this country and is the leader of the administration. And therefore, when any arm of government has issues that it requires to inform the president and maybe engage him, this is where to come. And we have held a meeting with Mr. President on the shortest request to see him. We are very glad for that. And we have bared our minds on the issues that we think, when tackled properly, would enhance our relationship and the cordiality that we all require for this administration to continue to succeed. And that is not to say that there is animosity. Actually, we need to sometimes smoothen the issue so that we all be on the same page, and that's what we have done.
What the IGP can address.
The issues are beyond the IGP Senate affair. We have so many other issues that border on ensuring that we work better with the executive arm of government. So the IGP was just one of those issues that were discussed, and he has taken note and he will take appropriate action.
Senate leader Ahmed Ibrahim Lawan speaking to State House correspondents. Back to the Senate again. Senate has passed a bill for an act to amend the Federal Polytechnics Act, Laws of the Federation 2004. National Assembly correspondent Ignatius Nko reports that the bill basically reviews the tenure of the principal officers of polytechnics and to strengthen their functions and boards.
After 10 minutes of executive session, the Senate commenced legislative business of the day, and the first item for consideration was the report of its Committee on Tertiary Education and Third Fund on the amendment of the Federal Polytechnics Act. Having dissolved into the Committee of the Whole, the bill was considered clause by clause.
Those in favor that clause 6 stands part of the bill say aye.
The bill strives to strengthen polytechnic administration in Nigeria and to also review tenure of principal officers, as the tenure of registrar will be limited to a single term of 5 years. The legislation intends to also provide legal backing for 9 federal polytechnics, which have not been included in the previous amendments.
The 9 polytechnics that have been established, that were established during the last administration, allowing them to remain without any act establishing them.
That this bill be now read the third time, say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it.
The report of the Senate Committee on Ethics, Privileges and Public Petitions on the petition from Law Students Association of National Open University of Nigeria against their non-inclusion in the Nigerian Law School program was presented on the floor.
We know that since other graduates with degrees from outside the country were always accommodated by subjecting themselves to 2 years of law school studies, something similar could be done for the nuanced graduates to address whatever perceived deficiency.
The Nigerian Universities Commission has no jurisdiction on this matter, and therefore the proper body would have been the Council for Legal Education and the Body of Benchers.
It's a policy that is being put into question. Comment that a public hearing is held by the 2 chambers and then they make their recommendation before us.
The petition from the Law Students Association of the National Open University of Nigeria was one of the petitions submitted by the committee. From the National Assembly, Ignatius Nkwo, NTA News.
Well, more on NTA Network News tonight after this break. Stay with us.
Are you sure you want to do this?
Adam, go and bring us your husband. Okay, hello baby. We're in this together, okay? Can you hear me? Keep coming forward. Wait, stop. You okay, lean to your right. Keep walking down, keep walking to the left. Yes. You're almost here. Keep going. You are here. Wow, you did it.
I'm just so glad I didn't have to use my cane to do this.
And I am so glad no other man got you before me. Let me be your eyes.
We will never stop working to give you a network you can rely on so you can enjoy life's special moments. MTN, everywhere you go.
Hey, Adu. Look, I got something for you.
A football chassis?
Hey, Adu, come watch a game with your uncle and I.
I'm okay, thanks.
So, Daddy, you showed those blues pepper yesterday, right?
We sure did.
Those 3 points are sure for us today. The game's about to start. Quickly.
The federal government of Nigeria, through the Ecological Fund Office, domiciled in the Office of the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, awarded and executed several ecological intervention projects between May 2015 and December 2017, spread across all the states of the Federation. 53 of these projects have been completed and will be commissioned and handed over to the different benefiting communities. This is to ensure that the communities assume ownership and sustainable management of the projects. For more information, check the national newspapers. Announcer Dr. Habiba Lawal, Permanent Secretary, Ecological Fund Office.
Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to introduce. Let's go, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay, working. That's right. Playing. Yeah. There we go. Milk, chocolate, malt, prepared mix ready to drink. Hollandia Chocomo, Shap nutritious drink every day. Drink it up. Oh yeah. Shap nutritious drink. Yeah.
30 years of research and documentation, African Image and Nigerian Television Authority, NTA, in partnership with Federal Ministry of Youth and Sports Development, presents Nigerian Sports Book of Records, 1884 to 2017. It is the first ever detailed and comprehensive history and achievements of all sports in the country, comprising 300 pages of masterly crafted content. Nigeria Sports Book of Records delivers 133 years of sports memories to sports audiences to complement the development development strides of President Muhammadu Buhari-led administration in sports sector. Details of public presentation of the book are as follows.
Date 5th June 2018. Venue International Conference Center, Abuja. Time 10 a.m. and 6 p.m.
For sponsorship enquiries, call Quanta on 0803-897-1997 and Angelina on 0805-465-3056. Nigeria Sports Book of Records, a celebration of great sports heroes and heroines.
Helen! Your kitchen gets 10 out of 10. Thank you. This also gets a 10. Should we see the toilet now? Sure. This gets just 1.
It is clean.
But not perfect 10.
Better than my detergent and bleach? Impossible.
Challenge? Try the new Apic 10X.
Compared to bleach and detergent, Apic sticker formulation removes yellow stains times better, giving you a sparkling clean toilet.
Wow.
Now you also take that
Apic 10X challenge.
Also available in 200 ml pack.
Do you know that the Nigerian police now operates in the best international practices of policing? Do you know that the Nigerian police has been restructured to be more accountable and responsive to all your security challenges? Now, what the police demand from you is your trust, your collaborative efforts by providing necessary information about criminals and their activities in your neighborhood. Be vigilant to achieve our creed as we promise. We shall police the country based on international core values of policing with integrity. We shall ensure that rule of law prevails in our actions and activities. We shall respect diversity, display courage, show compassion, and demonstrate professionalism. We shall operate within the principle of democratic policing. We shall shun corruption, and we shall make Nigeria safer and secured under the leadership of IGP Ibrahim Otum Idris.
Let the wind of change blowing across the country chase away crime for the benefit of our society. Yes, the Nigerian police says this change must come with peace and tranquility.
This message was brought to you by the Public Relations Department of the Nigerian Police Force.
Thank you for remaining with NTA Network News. President Muhammadu Buhari is urging Nigerians to remain vigilant and ensure that only people of conscience are allowed to take charge of governance at all levels of Nigeria as Nigeria prepares for the 2019 elections. Receiving members of the Buhari Support Organization on a solidarity visit, President Buhari was emphatic that persons who mismanage Nigeria's economy through fraudulent power projects and misuse of revenue earnings from oil cannot talk about love for the country. State House correspondent Adam Osambo has details.
Members of the Buhari Support Organization were in the State House to not only lend their support for the recent declaration of intent by President Muhammadu Buhari to seek re-election, but also reassure him of their resolve to work assiduously towards ensuring that the objective is achieved. The Nigerian leader, who thanked members of the organization for their resolute support, said their voluntary sacrifices clearly indicate their trust and belief in the great future of Nigeria. His decision to recontest, he maintained, is not for personal gains, but in the best interest of Nigeria, whose resources have been mercilessly squandered by past administrations.
And one of the former heads of state was bragging that he spent more than 15 billion American dollars, not naira, on power. Where is the power? Where is the power? And now we have to pay the debt? Let anybody come and confront me publicly. This is a terrible time, you know.
The president urged Nigerians to reject those who not only mismanage the economy, but also bent on dividing the country along religious and ethnic lines. As he puts it, they do not mean well for the country.
If you are working for the country, then you shouldn't be misappropriating and misapplying public funds the way people did. We will try as much as we can, to work and bring this country to its senses.
President Buhari said under his watch, 2.8 trillion naira has been disbursed in 2 years towards addressing the infrastructure deficit in the country, thereby stimulating economic growth and development in an unprecedented manner.
We have nothing to regret. Absolutely nothing. Let us keep on praying to God that He should put people of conscience in charge at all levels.
The Comptroller General of the Nigeria Customs Service, Hamid Ali, who led members of the organization, told President Buhari that majority of Nigerians are passionate about a second term for him because of his integrity, honesty, and selflessness in service to the nation.
I think every Nigerian that has a brain to understand knows that your being president has changed the direction and the course of this country. Therefore, for those of us who know you, for those of us who love you for what you are, it is not a choice for us, but a must that we must follow and push through and ensure that your second term in this country becomes a reality.
We are ready to return to the trenches, blazing the campaign trail once again, and it's all because of your integrity.
The Buhari Support Organization is a non-governmental, voluntary, and non-profit making organization formed with the objective of championing the campaign activities of President Muhammadu Buhari before the 2015 elections. From the State House, Adamu Sambo, NTA News.
As part of its humanitarian services, the Buhari Support Organization has donated essential materials worth thousands of naira and cash to a vulnerable group, Forum for Patriotic Members of the APC, to empower them towards becoming self-reliant. Amenka Amarachuku reports.
When President Muhammadu Buhari declared to contest for president in 2015 general election, more than 1,000 groups were formed to support his presidential ambition, after which the group formed a single one called the Buhari Support Organization. The group has been engaged in enlightening the people on the need to support the good intentions of the government. The latest is its effort to complement the present administration job creation and capital human development drives by empowering members of the Forum for Patriotic Members of APC to be self-reliant and train others irrespective of party affiliation.
We just picked one out of our groups, the ones that we believe are vulnerable. We decided to assist them with 100 bundles of atampa, some cash, and some materials so that they can give to their members. And this is just the beginning.
I'm one of the happiest person today because we've suffered a lot. And some of these people, they have been working all along with President Muhammadu Buhari since 2003.
The empowerment is expected to be carried out in the 36 states of the Federation in Abuja, Umenka, Marachuku, NTA News.
Vice President Yemi Osinbajo has arrived in Lafia for a two-day visit to Nasarawa State. State House correspondent Jide Onifade reports that the Vice President was received on arrival by Governor Tanko Almakura, the Nasarawa State Governor, and the Deputy Governor Silas Agara. Top government officials and traditional rulers led by the Emir of Lafia, Isa Mustafa Agwai I.
While in the state is expected to hold talks with some stakeholders on security matters, as well visit some internally displaced persons' camps. Among other schedules, the Vice President is also expected to inspect ongoing work on the Lafia NIPP 330 kV substation, which foundation stone was laid by President Buhari during his visit to the state.
The government of President Muhammadu Buhari haven't seen the challenges the people of Nasarawa State and environs are facing with regard to inadequate power supply. The government deems it fit to ensure that this project was embarked upon. And I'm happy to say it's about a year now the project has commenced, and you can see how far it has gone.
Well, I will keep you posted as events unfold here in Nasarawa State on the Vice President visit. Over to you, studio.
The House of Representatives has passed for second reading a bill for an act to amend the Food, Drugs and Related Products Laws of the Federation 2004. The bill seeks to increase penalties and confer jurisdiction on the state high courts to try offences under the Act. National Assembly correspondent Kenneth Nanim reports that the bill is sponsored by Representative Betty Aprefia from Rivers State.
Nigeria in recent times is being faced with prevalent cases of drug abuse, indiscriminate administration of counterfeit substances, consumption of unregistered foods and related products, especially where the existing relevant legislations are not stringent enough to address the situation. Members believe it has become imperative for the relevant sections of the law to be amended in line with current realities.
We are trying to amend this bill so that you can give proper legislative backing and jurisdiction to the court to try offenders.
We'll get faster convictions, Mr. Speaker, of people that are involved in this.
The penalty should not be less than 25 million.
The amendment should be to the Federal High Court, but not to the State High Court.
Those in favor of the motion say aye. Those against it say nay. Ayes have it.
Federal University of Agriculture Sabongida Langtan Establishment Bill by Representative Benila from Plateau State was also passed at second reading and referred to the Committee on Tertiary Education and Services. Motions of urgent public importance on the need for emergency intervention on the plight of persons affected by windstorm in Bauchi State and the need to provide more security to contain communal violence in Toto local government area of Nasarawa State were also adopted. Also adopted were motions by Representative Bid Eke from Imo State on the need to provide adequate security at the Nigerian airports, and that to stop increasing rate of child abuse in Nigeria by Representative Omosode Igbunedon from Edo State. From the National Assembly, Kenneth Nanim, NTA News.
The 71st World Health Assembly opens in Geneva, Switzerland, with the universal health coverage topping the agenda. Director General of the World Health Organization, Dr. Tedros Ghebreyesus, emphasized the need for political action on health with adequate protective measures for the vulnerable. Health correspondent Rabi Abdallah reports.
Appraising universal health coverage and its capability to deliver disease prevention, health promotion, and treatment for communicable and non-communicable diseases, while ensuring that individuals are not driven into poverty because of high costs. With political commitment, universal health coverage, Dr. Tedros Ghebreyesus says, is feasible for every country.
From highest levels, anything is possible. Without it, progress is difficult.
He cited Rwanda, said to have attained more than 90% coverage, as an outstanding example. A success story the country's president was on hand to share.
In Rwanda, a combination of community-based health insurance, community health workers, and good external partnerships led to the steepest reductions in child and maternal mortality ever recorded.
On the Ebola outbreak in the Democratic Republic of Congo, vaccination is said to be in top gear.
Much better place to deal with this outbreak than we were in 2014.
In Geneva, Switzerland, Rabi Abdallah, NTA News.
From Geneva to Lagos, where Dotun is our guide for more on NTA Network News. Over to you, Dotun.
Thank you, Kudu, and a warm welcome to Lagos. A three-day meeting to evaluate progress report for the 9th World Bank and Federal Government's Joint Implementation Support Mission under the FADAMA 3 additional financing has been held in Lagos. Jennifer Igwe reports that farmers who are beneficiaries of the project were in attendance.
Aminat Shabi is a fish farmer and president of the Female Farmers in Ekpe area of Lagos State. This meeting, though technical in nature, is important to her and members of her community group.
We're given selling machine how to package, process and package up to the international standard that we too we can export. There is a construction of a processing center, fish processing center, the standard fish processing center, that the TTL and the World Bank team will have a look.
Every 6 months, mandatory supervision meetings like these are held to evaluate the progress and impact of the FADAMA 3 additional financing project.
December 31, 2019, this project will come to a close. And there are certain things that we must necessarily achieve. There are certain results that must actually happen. So these are the things we are all jointly committed to. And that's why it is important that we come around from time to time to check on progress.
Reports shared at this meeting shows that the project is yielding positive results in Lagos State.
In last year alone, FADAMA contributed
3,623 metric tons of local rice to the food basket of Lagos State.
Plans to empower more farmers will be examined in the course of this three-day meeting, including construction of 3 additional markets to help farmers like Aminat Shabi market their produce. The Fadama 3 additional financing is a grant to Lagos State government from the World Bank loan to the federal government. In Lagos, Jennifer Igwe, NTA News.
Lagos State Governor Akinwumi Ambode has charged traditional rulers to work towards ensuring peace and security in their communities, saying peaceful atmosphere remains the necessary ingredient for development. The governor, who made the call while inaugurating the newly constituted Lagos State Council of Obas and Chiefs, said the traditional institution also have a pivotal role to perform in promoting the state's tourism campaign, being the custodians of culture and tradition of the people. Nosa Usula reports.
According to the governor, a peaceful atmosphere remains the necessary ingredient for development in any society. He noted that traditional rulers have a crucial role to play in promoting the state's tourism campaign, being the primary custodians of culture and tradition of the people.
Our government has immense regard for all our royal fathers and traditional rulers, and we will always welcome advice from our royal fathers in order to maintain social harmony and ensure peaceful coexistence in our state.
Commissioner for Local Government and Community Affairs, Muslim Folami, said the reconstitution of the council became imperative following the expiration of the tenure of the former council after serving for 5 years in line with the law.
New members are made up of 1 permanent chairman, 3 vice chairmen, 1 acting chairman, another 77 members, all totaling 82 members.
Responding on behalf of the council, the Oba of Lagos, Oba Riwan Akiolu, thanked Governor Ambode for the opportunity given to them to serve the state and urged traditional rulers to team up with government by coming up with useful ideas to assist in area of security, welfare, environmental sanitation, and revenue generation. In Lagos, Nosa Usula, NTA News.
You're still watching NTA Network News. More reports ahead after this time out. Please stay with us.
Maybe he's not comfortable in his diaper. New Molfix Comfort Fix Flexible Sidebands offers freedom of movement. Molfix, happy today, happy tomorrow.
Ah, not again. We had the same problem. Try new Molfix.
Molfix absorbs the liquid immediately, even under pressure. Molfix, happy today, happy tomorrow.
All TVs say picture quality, but never mention the most important color, black. It uncovers the hidden details of nature, brings out the richness in all colors, and reveals life. With self-lighting pixels, only OLED TVs make perfect black, and perfect black creates perfect color. LG OLED TV.
Sedap Supreme Noodles, capturing the tasty goodness. It's the Sedap Supreme chicken essence that gives it the truly delicious chicken taste. With real chicken essence. Be Supreme, Nigeria.
I live for my friends. I will always be there for them through everything, especially the big moments. That is why I'm happy with Alert Savings Goals. It helps me save more and meets my expectations. My name is Anita, and I use Alert.
Alert,
powered by Wema Bank.
The Administrative Staff College of Nigeria, ASCON, invites permanent secretaries, directors of finance and accounts, audits, budget, treasury, planning administration, human resources, procurement, stock verification, bursars, chairman of commission, members of the Legislative Houses on Appropriation and Public Accounts Committee to its roundtable conference on the challenges of implementing public sector financial management reforms. Date, Monday 18th to Wednesday 21st June 2018. Conference fee, 75,000 naira per participant. Payment mode, account name, ASCON e-collection, account number 02-300-5586-1019, payable at any bank. For further inquiries, please contact G.A. Afolayan, Conference Director on 00331-82344 or D.A. Yunusa, Conference Coordinator on 002-372-24527. Announcer, Director General, ASCON.
Thank you for remaining with NTA Network News. Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, retains monetary policy rate for the 9th consecutive time. And the Nigeria stock market closed on a negative note. Details with Musa Abubakar on Business News.
Hello, a warm welcome to Business News. The Monetary Policy Committee of the Central Bank of Nigeria has retained monetary policy rate at 14% at the end of the committee's meeting in Abuja. After considering oil prices, latest gross domestic product, and inflation figures, among other microeconomic variables, the committee decided to retain the current rate pending clarity on 2018 budget implementation, economic activity, and traction in fiscal policy in 2018. 8 out of 9 members of the committee agreed to also retain cash reserve ratio at 22.5%, liquidity ratio at 30%, and asymmetric window at plus 200 and minus 500 basis points.
The MPC noted that at single-digit inflation and high reserve levels, the risks associated with a policy rate reduction under conditions of wavering foreign capital inflows and an unstable oil market, including other severe uncertainties, could be better managed to deliver macroeconomic stability in Nigeria.
Overall, the committee observed the need to do more to accelerate credit growth. The Nigerian Stock Exchange saw the second day of trading depreciating further by 0.43% to close at 40,249.29 basis points. Its year-to-date returns currently stands at plus 5.25%, while market capitalization stood at over 14 trillion naira. 281 million equities were traded by investors in 4,304 deals valued at 4.092 billion naira. Ikeja Hotels, Fitson Health, and Zenith Bank were the most traded stocks. That's it on business segment. The news continues.
We'll now join Sokoto, where Asma'u is standing by to give us more reports on NTA Network News. Hello, Asma'u.
Hello, Muhammad. Good evening and welcome to Sokoto. The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, has arraigned the former Minister of Water Resources, Mukhtar Shagari, alongside 4 others at the Federal High Court, Sokoto, on a 5-count charge of conspiracy and money laundering to the tune of 500 million naira. Abraman Gibrila has the report.
The 5-count charge filed against the 5 defendants centers on conspiracy and illegal possession of the sum of 500 million naira from one Abdurrahman Ibrahim without transacting through a financial institution, which is an offense contrary to Section 18A of the Money Laundering Prohibition Act 2011. The 5 defendants include Ibrahim Gidadu, Mukhtar Shagari, Nasir Al-Hatu, Ibrahim Milguma, and Abdullahi Muhammad Wali. After hearing the charges, all the defendants pleaded not guilty to the allegations. The prosecuting counsel, Johnson Ojegbade, then asked the presiding judge, Justice Idrissa Kolo, to adjourn the trial to a later date to enable them assemble witnesses who will testify on the case, while calling for the accused to be remanded in prison custody. Counsel to the defendants argued that they have filed a bail application for the release of the accused pending the commencement of the proper hearing.
But I also informed the court that I have 2 days procedurally to respond to those processes.
So no matter how high-sounding the allegations may be, these facts still remain that under our constitution they are presumed innocent until the contrary is proved.
Presiding Judge Justice Idrissa Kolo adjourned the sitting to Thursday, the 24th May 2018, and ordered the accused to be remanded under the police custody. In Sokoto, Abraham Usman Jibrila, NTA News.
Sultan Saad Abubakar has reiterated the need for Nigerians to work together and join hands with security operatives to strengthen security network of the nation. The monarch made the remark at a breakfast dinner he hosted for different communities at his palace. Muhammad Nasser reports.
It has been a tradition for the Sultan in the spirit of Ramadan to organize such dinner to bring people together to eat and chat with a view to strengthening unity and cooperation among Nigerians. This year's dinner drew heads of security agencies in Sokoto, resident communities, and journalists, and discussions focused on security challenges facing the nation. Sultan Saad Abubakar said security is everyone's business and stressed the need for all hands to be on deck to improve security in the country. The Sultan described as unfortunate the way perpetrators of criminal activities are portrayed with the name of a particular religion or ethnicity, saying crime has no religion or tribe.
It's not a fair comment to make that if that unfortunate young girl that was captured by Boko Haram is still in custody, they said if she dies, they are going to be just war.
While calling on government to equip security personnel to enable them carry out their mandate effectively and professionally, the Sultan advised the security to come out with strategies to work diligently. On the media, Sultan Saad advised them to remain objective in their broadcast to safeguard and move the nation forward. During the gathering, some participants spoke on security situations in the country. Some participants lauded the foresight of the Sultan in organizing such fora, which they describe as a step forward in consolidating unity among Nigerians. In Sokoto, Muhammad Nasir, NTA News.
And that's our package from Sokoto. Network News continues with Muhammad in Abuja. Good evening.
President Muhammadu Buhari, Tuesday evening, also hosted members of the Federal Executive Council, service chiefs, and heads of other security agencies to the breaking of the Ramadan fast. State House correspondent Adam Sambo reports that this is the first in the series of such engagements with a broad spectrum of the Nigerian society during the holy month. It is usually an opportunity to interact and share experiences on means of achieving peace, unity, and socio-economic development of the country. President Buhari charged the ministers as well as the heads of various security agencies to remain alive to their responsibilities to ensure that the change agenda is implemented effectively for sustainable future of Nigeria. His administration, the president noted, cannot afford to fail the nation, hence the need for the senior government officials to live above board and discharge their duties with high sense of patriotism. Director General National Intelligence Agency Ahmed Rufai Abubakar, who spoke on behalf of the heads of agencies, reassured President Buhari of their unflinching support and loyalty as he strives to change Nigeria for the better.
Thank you, Mr. President, for this iftar. We thank you for the opportunity and privilege you gave us to serve you and to serve Nigeria under your tutelage. We thank you, Mr. President, for guidance, for leadership in friendship. We thank you, Mr. President, for lifting our country, the integrity of this country high, here in Nigeria and outside this country. And I want also, on behalf of this gathering, to promise that we will continue to serve this country to the best of our ability, in fairness and in fear of God.
Director General of the National Intelligence Agency, Ahmed Rufai Abubakar, speaking on behalf of the invitees to the iftar breaking of fast hosted by President Muhammadu Buhari. The remains of the 2 priests and 17 other worshippers of St. Ignatius Catholic Church, Ukpo Aya, Mblom in Gwe local government area of Benue State, killed by gunmen, have been laid to rest. Vice President Yemi Osinbajo, who was accompanied by some ministers to the burial, said the rebuilding and revamping of Nigeria's law enforcement system is being vigorously pursued in order to end the destruction of lives and property in the country. Correspondent Bem Anya reports that the Requiem Mass was presided by the Archbishop of Abuja Archdiocese, John Cardinal Onayokon.
Metropolitan Archbishop of Abuja Province, John Cardinal Onayokon, who delivered the sermon at the Mass, which had over 50 Catholic bishops and hundreds of priests, called for tolerance and dialogue in resolving crises as well as the spirit of forgiveness.
Every human life is precious in the eyes of God, made in his own image and likeness.
The Vice President, Professor Yemi Osinbajo, called on the people to remain steadfast as the federal government is doing all it can to end the killings in the country. He assured the people that anyone found culpable will not be spared and appealed to them not to take laws into their hands.
We cannot bring them back, but we can provide succor and comfort for those that they left behind. We can ensure justice for them by apprehending and punishing their assailants. Most importantly, we must and will stop these senseless killings.
Governor Samuel Otom commended the current efforts of the federal government to bring the crisis to an end. Bishop of Makurdi Diocese, Most Reverend Wilfred Anagbe and Totiv, Professor James Ayate, called on the people to strengthen their trust in God, who will bring all sufferings to an end. The corpses of the 2 priests and other worshippers were later laid to rest. From Ayati in Gwe local government area of Benue State, Bem Hanya, NTA News.
A prayer walk seeking peace and a stop to killings across the country, especially at the places of worship, was led by the Catholic community in Abuja. Uche Nwizu witnessed the procession.
The prayer walk was preceded by a holy mass at the National Christian Center. It was dedicated to pray for the repose of the souls of innocent people killed across the country, especially religious leaders.
We raise our voices in prayer to God to give us peace, to comfort all those who mourn, and to grant eternal rest to the dead.
We are aware quite okay that Christians, Muslims, even non-believers have been killed. We must remain resolute to recover Nigeria.
United we stand, and we are going to continue to be together. Nigeria will not disintegrate.
The walk, captioned Peaceful and Prayerful March for Life, was initiated by the Catholic community in order to sensitize the authorities and general public against the state of insecurity in the country and for people to support all security operatives and law enforcement agencies to curb these dastardly acts in Nigeria. Uche Nwizu, NTA News.
Time for a short break. Stay with us. We'll have more reports after.
Consolidating the fight against corruption, the journey and gains so far. That is the trust on NTA Tuesday Live this week. It promises to be informative and educative. Don't miss it.
Nigerians have been urged to be steadfast in prayers and work towards peaceful coexistence. National President, National Union of Road Transport Workers, NURTW, Alhaji Najim Usman Yassin, said this at the 6th annual Ramadan lecture organized by the union in Ibadan. Rafiat Animashaun Badmos has the story.
Apart from the high dose of piety and righteousness, fasting brings faithful closer to God and reminds them of suffering of the less privileged. Guest lecturer Sheikh Muhyiddin Ajani Bello admonished Muslim faithful not to forcefully acquire what does not belong to them, adding that it is only Allah that gives wealth to whosoever He wills. National President, National Union of Road Transport Workers Najim Yassin emphasized the need for peaceful coexistence with one another and the general public.
We should use this month of Ramadan to come closer to the Almighty Allah and use the Ramadan lecture, Ramadan period, to be praying for the organization, pray for the nation.
National Union of Road Transport Workers, Oyo State Council and Southwest Zone said the lecture is to put members on their toes at putting God first.
We want everybody to know God. We don't want any violence in this state or in this organization again.
The 6th annual Ramadan lecture of the union played host to members from across the country. In Ibadan, Rofia Animashaun Badmos, NTA News.
With 23 days to the kickoff of the 2018 FIFA World Cup in Russia on June the 14th, NTA takes a look at the 6 out of the 12 stadia that will serve as venues for the tournament. Ayodeji Makinde is our guide on the World Cup countdown.
On our 2018 FIFA World Cup countdown today, we'll take a look at Russia and the 12 great pieces of architectural designs. The Russian Federation was named host of the showpiece in Zurich in 2010 after a double bidding process. Moscow, Russia's largest city, houses 2 of the 12 venues, the Luzhniki Stadium and Oktyabrskaya Arena. The Luzhniki Stadium has a seating capacity for 80,000 spectators. One of Moscow's true landmarks, which has hosted notable football matches in Russia, will not only thrill fans to its beauty, it will also host 7 matches at the Mundial, including the tournament's opener on the 14th of June, as well as the final on the 15th of July. Close by is the Oktyabrskaya Arena. It is approximately 40 minutes drive from city center, where arguably Russia's most popular and decorated team, Spartak Moscow, have claimed as home. The front of the facility captures red and white diamonds, a nod to the team's crest, and an armor worn by legendary gladiator Spartacus, after whom the club is named. Krestovsky Stadium is next, located in Russian city of St. Petersburg with a 69,000 seating capacity. The edifice on the Krestovsky Island faces the Baltic Sea. It has a retractable pitch, which assures that the turf quality remains high regardless of weather conditions. This beauty of a spectacle will host one of the biggest matches of the 2018 FIFA World Cup, when Nigeria play perennial rivals Argentina. Sochi gained sports prominence in 2013 when it hosted the Winter Olympic Games. The city will host 7 matches, including a quarter-final on 7th July at the Fisht Olympic Stadium. The edifice was originally named after Mount Fisht, a peak in the Caucasus range of mountains. Samara is home to 1.1 million people in Russia, famous as the country's aerospace center. The 45,000 capacity edifice will host 6 matches, including the quarter-final. The city, once the second capital of Russia during the Second World War, has a rich cultural and historical value, with the Kuybyshev Square, an iconic place within the city. The 6th most populous city in Russia, Kazan, also got the nod to host matches of the 2018 FIFA World Cup. The Kazan Arena seats 45,000 spectators in a city regarded as one of the oldest in Russia. The city is scheduled to host 6 matches, including a round of 8 showdown. Volgograd, which hosts Nigeria versus Iceland match on June the 22nd, and Kaliningrad, which will be agog for Nigeria's opening match in Group D at the World Cup on June the 16th, will feature in the next countdown.
With that spectacular report on the 2018 World Cup in Russia, we end tonight's news package. I'm Muhammad Kuda Abubakar. Thank you for watching. Good night.